Hi, everyone, and welcome to the final segment of I Died Mentally But God. Um, it's so fitting that I am closing this month with how I overcome the but God part. I will still, continue to share the first part of this video. I will share, my death mentally, some other things that happened, the support that I got, um, and also where was my church family. I will also discuss that. So thank you for sticking through. Thank you for the new subscribers. Welcome, welcome, welcome. The purpose of this channel really is just to help us as we navigate through life. You may hear some stuff in my background. I'm at home with everybody. But yeah, so it's really just to navigate and just to help you, like a coach, a coach who help the players to navigate to win. So that is what I want to help you. So by sharing my experiences as well as having one-on-one conversations with you, I can help you to navigate in terms of finding the right resources that you need in whatever challenges you may face, in whatever choices you may have to make. That is what I am offering to you. So let's get down into it. So, as I said in the last video, I went into a deep depression, like deep. I remember going to work after that, I think maybe about Wednesday or Thursday of that week, but I still didn't feel well. Um, and I'll never forget the love and support I got from Nurse Hines from church. Um, she helped us with the physical aspect of it, because one of the things that we have to recognize with depression is that apart from mentally, there is a physical aspect to it. And she helped me physically in, regaining my mental health. She was one of the persons that God had sent to me and for me to help me on this journey. Now, before I get into how she helped me, let's backtrack a bit. So, the depression was so deep, guys, that I remember one day I was at work, and I worked downtown at the time, and I remember just sitting there. I was quite fine. Um, I have to say that the depression that I felt was one where there was no emotion, no love, no anger, no pain. I didn't feel anything more than just an emptiness, a gloom, like nothing, like really nothing. Like I felt trapped in a body that was not mine. And I remember sitting there at work, and the feeling came over me. There are a lot of funeral homes downtown and a lot of morgues. And the feeling came over me that I basically should just leave everything at my desk and walk into one of those funeral homes and let them prepare me for death. Like I wasn't scared at all. Like there was no fear. Like at that moment, I wanted to die. At that moment, I had given up on life. But it's like there was something in me. It's almost like I was not in sync with that emotion that I was feeling. And so I remember going into the bathroom at work, and I literally screamed out in my mind and I started crying. And I was like, God, this is not me. This is not what I would want. I would not want to die. I would not want to kill myself. This is not me. And it was so bad, and I just remember praying, crying. The feeling didn't go. The feeling didn't go. But I went back to the desk and I tried to focus as much as I could. Um, and I remember saying that, I'm going to go to the doctor. And I went to my doctor, my family doctor, and he he said to me, you know, I need some counseling, I need to get some help. And he gave me 2 weeks off from work. He said, you know, I need to get into the right headspace to be able to function. And I spoke with my mentor, and she said, you know, take the time that you need. And I put in, the good thing about it is that my previous employer, you could have any amount of sick days. They allowed that. So I think the only thing it would affect is just your bonus, but it would not have affected your salary. And I remember I went to the doctor and I went home, and I remember every night I would just, and my father said, you know what, come and stay with us, like just come and stay with us for a few days. And that's what I did. I moved in temporarily with my parents, and I started another leg of the process in regaining my mental health. It wasn't easy on my parents and my mom. Um, I don't even remember my sister's role in it. I don't even recall seeing her, to be honest. I don't know where she was. Because as I said, there are some things that I have forgotten, but I believe I have remembered the most important aspects of it. And I remember sleeping beside my mom, and when I would wake up in the panic attack and the heart racing, and I literally could feel my heart pumping, and my mom could see my chest just like a horse galloping on the racetrack. And I was saying, Mommy, you need to carry me to the doctor. Wake up, Daddy, you need to carry me to the doctor now. And she'd be like, no, I'm not carrying on that doctor, you know. And she'll be there rebuking the spirit. No, my mom is not Seventh-day Adventist. My mom is Pentecostal. So she would have been speaking in tongues, and she would have been casting out. And I remember she would have the Bible and stuff. And she would say, I must pray with the Bible. And every night before I go to my bed, I would pray with the Bible. I remember going to a particular Sunday meeting, and there was a psychologist there. There's a difference between the two. The psychiatrist is allowed to prescribe medication to you. The psychologist is not allowed to do that, but more to give you counseling, and in a nutshell. And she was a Christian, and I remember her telling us how to relax. And she said, a lot of the things that are happening in our bodies is because we don't breathe properly, we don't rest properly, we don't eat properly, we don't get enough sunlight, we don't get enough air, exercise, all of that. And I remember her doing a physical exercise with us, and when we did it, I remember I just started belching, because that was the other thing too. I always felt a heaviness in my chest. I always felt like there was pressure in my chest. I always felt as if I was having a heart attack. I always felt as if I was sick. And after that, I remember feeling a relief, and I said, you know what, I'm going to book an appointment with her. And I did just that. And we started the journey with her. And I remember it was rough. I remember I told her that I was scared of dying. I had a fear of dying as well. So even though I would have had suicidal thoughts, I also had a fear of dying. And it was good that she was a Christian, because she helped to put things in perspective. She helped me to recognize that a part of being a Christian is totally surrendering to God. And when I have certain thoughts, how to go back to the promises of God. No, you may ask, where was my church in all of this? This is going to get a little bit messy. So where was my church? There were persons who, and I want to just put a disclaimer that this is how I felt, and I'm not saying this was the intention of those persons, but this is how I felt. I felt as if I was being judged. There were persons who, and a few persons knew about it, because I remember when I started sharing the comments that I got, I closed up. I I remember persons were like, but you're a Christian, this is supposed to happen to you. There was someone else who said, but you're a strong person, man. Stop the foolishness, man. Shake it off, man. Shake it off, man. You just need to just take some break and shake it off. There were persons who thought that there was there were persons who thought that this was a part of prophecy where they were like quoting, oh, the Bible says that in the last days, men's heart shall fail them. I remember my heart sinking when the person said this, and this was a young person, by the way. I remember talking to a person and telling them how they feel, and they just, I remember one person literally just turning away and walking away, leaving me right there. And I felt like, oh my God, I am grateful for the few persons who sat and listened and tried to offer support. But the persons who were so judgmental or their responses.
Someone once asked me, what is a best friend? And I said, it's the person who can see the truth and pain in you, even when you're fooling everyone else.
But for the persons who were judgmental, or I should say, let me felt as if I was in a place where I was being judged. I wish persons would understand what depression is and how to help. It's not something that you shake off. It's not something that you pray one time for the person and the person is delivered. It's not, and I'm not saying that God cannot heal somebody instantaneously, but what I'm saying is that the journey sometimes is just different. So I don't even remember who my pastor was at that time, to be honest. As I said, based on how things progress, I remember the key things, the things that disappointed me and the things that helped me. After that, I remember just listening to my counselor, and I started doing a lot of things. And a few of those things would have helped. But before I go to what helped, it is very important that while you're going through depression, as much as how you feel as if you want to be alone, spend time and try and push yourself to be around the people that you love, the people that are trying to be there for you. Just try your best and make sure you have a support system in every area of your life. It doesn't mean that you and these people have to be best friends. And in a video coming up, you'll see what I mean. So at work, try and develop relationships with the people that you work with. And when I say relationship, it doesn't have to be a deep relationship. Make it be a platonic. You and the person can laugh, have a good time, have friends that you can hang out with. If it is that you are on a goal to lose weight, have a friend that is on the same goal like that. If you are on a goal, a professional goal, then make a relationship with someone who is on that same goal so that in every aspect of your life, you have that level of support, because that is what helped me through that period of time. So I cannot tell you when the depression ended, when I came out of that deep, dark place. I don't remember when it happened, but it did not happen on one day. It didn't happen on day two. It was so bad, I could not watch the shows that I normally watch. That's how bad it was. And I mean, I couldn't even watch the news. Like, everything was a trigger, everything was a bother. And I will tell you that if it wasn't for the people that love me, if it wasn't for my father and my husband who were like, look here, we're going to walk. I remember even walking and I was like, guys, my heart is about to burst. And they were like, your heart now, but just continue walking. I remember I'd be like, I'm so fatigued. And I'd be like, no, continue walking. We're doing 7 laps, we're doing 7 laps. this may not work for everybody because you have to know when not to push. Because I remember some days when I was going to walk, I was like, God, let the several laps them come off quick, quick, quick. I remember like they would be talking and zone them out, but I just walk. But it actually helped in the process. It actually did. So I'm gonna share a video with you now, and these are some of the things that I actually did that helped me to feel more alive. God allowed these persons to be there at the right time and to help me to go through this. So, and there's some part of the video that would not relate to that period, but it would signify how much I spent time with family. It would signify the games that I would have played with friends. Um, how I instead of staying home and staying in the bed, how every time I had a negative thought, how I use it with a positive affirmation about myself, about who I am. So, in essence, I had to learn who I was and fall in love and get to know me and who I was before all of this depression. So, um, the journey to recovery saw me being in the gym, being supported by one of the best trainers ever, Following Fitness 876. Yes, you can check them out on Instagram. Um, I started this journey really with my dad and my husband, and then as the years progressed, I went into formal training. The other thing is too is that I do a lot of herbal teas. This helps me with my nerves. This helps me with my anxiety at times, and just to give me the added nutrients that I need to help my body to manage daily stress as well. So those are my stash of natural drugs. Yep. And I do drink them without sugar. That's my favorite sleepy time. One of the side effects too of me, having anxiety is that I sometimes am unable to sleep. So tension tamer and sleepy time is usually that. I also do try and have funs with my friends. And this is me at karaoke here, just trying to have a blast. And I was feeling one of the most, weirdest moods ever, but still went out and try and create those memories. And I want to say we're best friends, but we have a good relationship, and that is what I do. There are days when I don't feel quite, but got up and walk. Also started a garden in the back of my yard, as well. Hang out with co-workers, went to music days at different churches, took vacations, hang out with family, do celebration. That's me and my daughter there. So, try and live in the moments and enjoy the moments as they come. And yeah. I promise myself I will celebrate every win. I have learned a lot about myself, as I said. And because I've learned a lot about myself, I will tell you that I have never been back into that deep, dark place, but I have been plagued with anxiety. I have been plagued with panic attacks. I have had many trips to the hospital since because of fluttering in my chest, my heart racing, palpitations. I have done many tests. I have done even one where I was being monitored for 24 hours by a blood pressure monitoring and a Holter, and all of those tests came back negative. But I have learned to recognize the amber lights so that I never get back to that red zone ever. And this is something that you can manage. You can manage it with the support of your friends. You can manage it with the support of your loved ones, with healthy relationships, persons who make you feel inadequate, less of yourself, like you don't want to have those type of relationships. And this goes for even church as well. You can have unhealthy relationships in church, always being asked to do something. You have to learn to set boundaries. You have to learn to say no. You have to learn, when to push back. Um, and know when you have reached your limit. I'm not superwoman. And that's a positive affirmation for me, because then it makes me realize that I do have some limitations and I cannot be what everybody wants me to be. I can only be me. And I have grown so much from all of it. And I am sharing this with someone to let you know that you can overcome. You can rise above this. You can stand on this. Find out what it is that is causing you to feel so bad about yourself. Depression is usually a series of thoughts, and if you think about it, you'll know that what I'm saying is the truth. And it is our inability of managing those thoughts that cause us to even go deeper and further into it. So I have some little exercises that I do where affirmations, their promises. Know that I'm a more firm believer in the promises of God. Their promises that I've claimed, their promises that I remind myself about. I have placed certain things in the house, like do not fear, for I am with you. Um, Family is where it matters. There's so many stickers that I've placed around, and there are things on my phone too that help to remind me of who I am. So, in honor of mental awareness, be aware of your mental health. Just as how if you start sniffling, a flu is coming on, or allergies, look out for those signs. Look out for those signs. And if you want, to discuss with me, if you want me to share more, there are many places, the family life counseling, um, they are a good there are good agencies to start at. There are also private, psychiatrists, psychologists. I won't tell you that medication is the worst. I chose not to go on medication because of the side effects that I had with just one of them. Um, but as I said in the previous video, you'd have seen that I exercise, I spend time with persons. I do take supplements, vitamin B's. I I also take a lot of fish oil. I also try and get out in the sun. I also, do things that I know will put me in that place that help me to, be happy. Those release those dopamine, in me, in my brain, and just to help me to be a better wholesome being. There are days when I feel down. There are days when things don't go how I want them to go, but having an attitude of gratitude actually helps. So every win is still a win. So the fact that you are watching this video, you're suffering from depression, but you are watching this video, it is a win, because now you can do something about it. And if you need help in finding the right resources, in just locating how you can be healed from it, how you can get rid of those thoughts. And I don't think we get rid of those thoughts, we just know how to manage and channel those thoughts. So it is a win, and thank you very much for joining me on this journey. And I trust that you will continue to stay with me. Remember to like, remember to subscribe, remember you can share your comment. This is a free place. Don't want anybody attacking anybody for their comment. And hit me up. I'm on Instagram, I'm on Facebook at Dekesi, and send me a message. I am free. I'm open to share with you. I am open to, finding the resources for you if it is that you want help in locating a particular, thing, whatever it is, I am there to help you to get to where you need to be. So, thank you again for joining, and see you next week, same time. I think this video will be a little bit late, but same time, same place. And have an awesome and winning week. Bye.
I know you're tired of me saying this, but when the rain is blowing in your face and the whole world is on your case, I would offer you a warm embrace to make you feel my love.